Hello there. Welcome to Hope Voyage. My name is Lovolo and I'll be your host on Hope Voyage. I just want to say thank you for tuning in to this podcast. Thank you. I am delighted. I am elated. I am super duper grateful having you together in this journey. And I just want to tell you that God, He's in the journey with you. He's always in the journey with you. In this voyage, get set and let's dive in.
Voyagers, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depending on whenever you hear this podcast, we are so grateful for you guys coming again with us in the year 2026. All right, today we'll just head on to what we have today. It's a beautiful day and we are grateful to God. Today with me is someone very phenomenal, like a very big, huge figure that we have in Nigeria. Honestly, we are grateful for it for embracing our session with us here at the podcast. Thank you so much, Mrs. Vivian. How are you doing, Mrs. Vivian?
I'm okay. Good morning.
Thank you
Good morning,
so much.
everyone.
And today on the call with us on the podcast session today is Mrs. Vivian Alfred. And we want to know basically a little about you as regards what you do and how you are today recording today podcast with us. Thank you so much. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching. My name is Vivian Alfred. I am an entrepreneur, I'm a mom, and I thank God for that title. Alongside my career, I run a brand called Avivi, and I'm passionate about business, digital marketing, anything online sales, because I know I love to help people learn, practice, grow profitable ventures, or whatever it is you do online. So balancing work, I'm balancing motherhood and entrepreneurship. And it has taught me a lot about resilience, discipline, and creativity in building income online. I'm really excited to be here for real. I'm happy to share my experience. I'm happy to share my lessons and insights. I'm hopeful that someone out there is going to hear me and have a rethink, or someone is going to hear me, whoever it is that wants to give up on whatever it is they believe, they will hear me speak and have a rethink and believe that there is God in everything they do. Thank you.
Wow, that's a very interesting introduction. And this it's no small feat at all, being a mother and entrepreneur and also trying to like put your personal life also in check with God. Thank you so much for that. And we are so honored having you today on our podcast. Thank you. Thank you again. A million, skillion, zillion times. We are grateful. Now, over to your thoughts. When you hear about Hope Voyage, what actually came into your mind? Like, I know a lot of people like it's hope, yes. What was your first thought as regards Hope Voyage, the name, and possibly what just rang or gave a stroke in your heart as regards it?
Okay, when I heard of Hope Voyage, the first thing that came to my mind is where all hopes are brought back to life. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I heard it. So that's it. If you've lost hope, just come to Hope Voyage and your hope will be back to life. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. That's in line. And I love the fact that one key thing that little persons will always come into this podcast with is that word hope, hope centered in a particular being, which is God, is in us. Thank you so much. Now we'll just go straight into the discussion of today. I know you have that particular story that has been yearning within you to really share with everyone that cares to listen. I know you're ready with your story, and I know that as many persons that will be hearing this, they'll be encouraged, they'll be strengthened, they'll know that of a truth there is a God. And we just can't wait to hear your story. So over to you, man. What has your journey been? What is that one thing that you want us to hear and really get encouraged and be strengthened in our own journey, irrespective of wherever we are in our point in life? Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon or good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching from. you know, my story today is just about what I've faced with God. That's just the truth. I used to be someone that just, says she believes in God. But at the end of the day, if something comes to me, if something shakes me, you will see me losing faith in God. You will see me losing hope. Whenever I tell you, I mean, as of then, when I've not encountered what I've encountered now, as of then, when I tell you I believe in God, I just say it so you hear it, but not really deep down that I really believe that there are things that God can do. So, but after my experiences and after what God did for me, I can boldly tell you that I can fight anybody who tells me there's no God. I can
Interesting.
fight and I can go any length with that person if I ever hear the person say there's no God, because I have survived what would have killed a lot of people. And that alone is a proof that there's God. So I'm going to start with my first story. I have two stories to share. I'm going to start with the first one. And the first one started when I wanted to get married. We were healthy, we were good. I and my fiancé then, we were good, we were okay, we were happy. So when he decided to see my parents, he had to come as a surprise. He didn't let me know he was going to visit my parents to talk about bride price, excuse me, to talk about bride price or whatever it is he wants to do. He just had to surprise me. He you know, took I don't know how he was able to get the address to my house. He went to my house. He visited my parents. He told them his intentions, and they were so happy. They didn't even see it coming. Nobody, unlike other people, or unlike what we would have done, people would have prepared for their in-law. People would have prepared and know that, oh, our in-law is coming today, let's prepare, something like that. But nobody prepared for him because he didn't want to tell anybody he was coming. He just came with his people. They took the bride price list and they went home. It was later my people called me on like, are you aware somebody like this came to your house? I'm like, how is that possible? This person doesn't even know where I stay. I know he knows I'm from this place, but he doesn't even know my house. So how on earth was he able to ask questions till he got to my house address and he got to the right place? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I was excited because it just shows that this person is really serious about me. This person that took this kind of decision, he really loves me and he really wants to go for me. So he took the bride price list with his people, and they
Yeah.
went back to the house and decided on when they would come and start the main thing, pay for any other thing they want to pay for. So after 1 week of taking this bride price, this my fiancé, now my husband,
Hmm.
he fell sick.
Oh my God.
He fell sick, terribly sick, that at first we thought it was like a normal sickness, normal malaria thing. So
Yeah.
we just gave
Right.
drugs. We gave him drugs. We just did the normal thing and we expected him to be back on his feet. But after like a week or so, we realized that it became worse. It became worse that he couldn't even swallow anything. His throat was blocked. His vision was becoming blurry. He now hardly sees. Like as of then, he was hardly seeing anything. He couldn't see. In fact, he couldn't even see things. He couldn't read things from his laptop, from his phone. We are like worried. So we had to go and we went to an optician. We got glasses for him, so at least it would help him. But it became worse. It became worse that he wasn't even seeing properly. Ah, ah, I was worried. I'm like, what is really going on? I became scared for real. Because this guy just came and took bride price list from my people, and now this week he's sick. What is really going on? And now, when all of that was happening, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to call. I didn't even know there was something called prayer because
Hmm.
I didn't expect. I just felt it was normal. It was normal malaria, normal kind of sickness. So I didn't really expect something that I didn't really start putting my mind into kabashing, start praying heavily, start looking for solution. But we're just looking at it the medical way, right? So
Yeah.
I had to call his mom. I had to speak to his mom. I said, this is what is happening right now. He's not really feeding well. somebody that used to eat better, eba, and all of that. But now he's not feeding well. He's sick. He's not even walking well. His legs are becoming numb. Like it was like every morning there's actually a new thing that is coming up that we have to talk about. Every morning there's a new sickness coming up that is adding to what he's already going through. So they said, okay, you know what, we have to take him to the hospital. So we took him to a hospital here in Port Harcourt. When we got there, they were literally doing things. They were literally like trying to stop the pains he was feeling, but they weren't, curing the sickness or whatever it is that was happening to him. So they ran all kind of tests. They did all kind of tests. They did X-ray. They did this. They did that. They did so many things on him, and all of that came out negative. They told us nothing is wrong with this man. They've checked everything medically, that nothing is wrong with him. So that was when I knew that, okay, this is no longer about a physical battle. This has to go spiritual. We didn't go spiritual in terms of going from one place to another, but that was when I realized that at this point I have to start calling on God, because it is more than 1 week now. It is more than 2 weeks now. At least we're hoping when the test result comes out, we can pinpoint on something and say this is actually what the problem is, and then we can start working on on it. But unfortunately, every result came out negative. So now, where do we even start? Where do we hold hand? We couldn't hold hand on anything. So we got worried. We started involving families now. We started involving families. We started involving anybody we believe we can trust. We started getting people involved. So they advised that we should move him from this Port Harcourt straight to Ujo, something UTTH, Uyo Teaching Hospital or something like that.
Okay.
So we moved him to Uyo. When we got there, we were placed in the emergency and whatever accident ward. It was
Okay.
really horrible because at that point, I saw a lot of people die in my front. I saw a lot of cups being moved in our faces. Like, when you're facing death, you're just, because that is an emergency ward. Every day, there's always somebody dying. There's always crying. There's always screaming. There's always people screaming, people
Really?
crying. It was really worrying. And it put so much fear in me. I don't know if it's putting so much fear in other people, but in me, because I've never seen anybody die in my front before. I've never experienced people move corpse in my front. But then there I saw everything with my eyes, and I'm like, what is really going on? So that was when I started calling on God. I started praying. I started, you know, started talking to God. And uh, uh, my dear, from 1 week to 2 weeks to 1 month, we stayed 1 month in the hospital. As if that wasn't enough, they told us we have to, so many things came up. They ran another test again in that hospital. My dear, everything came out negative. They said nothing is wrong with this man. Nothing is wrong with this man. So how on earth is my husband to be crippled? Now, at this point, after 1 month, he could not walk again. He could not eat. He was not eating through the nose. I can literally attach videos and pictures, and they're all in my phone. He was literally eating through the nose. He could not talk. He lost his voice. He lost his vision. He lost his legs. Not like he wasn't cut off, but he was numb. He could not use his
Immobile.
legs for yes, he could not use it for anything. He was just there. The only thing he was just doing was to just, speak to God in his heart, because he could not talk out loud. So I was really scared. I was worried. So, that was when that voice came to me and said, pray. It's time to pray. I can categorically tell you that I've not prayed for about 30 minutes before. I've not prayed for 30 minutes. I highest 1 minute, 2 minutes. Sometimes I even sleep off when praying. But after what happened, I stood up and I said, no, enough is enough. And I started praying. I started calling on God. And at that point, there were some things that they were telling us to do. Some people came with different advices. Human beings now. When
That's
they
the problem.
when they hear something like, when they hear this is happening, some people came with different advices. Oh, visit this man, visit this herbalist, visit this person. But thank God for the kind of in-laws I have. They are the people that have so much love in them. They have so much. In fact, when there is love in everything you do, I just feel like life is going to be so easy for you. They
Yeah.
love their son so much. They love my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. They love their son so much. My husband's siblings, they love him so much. They didn't get to start doing whatever it is people were telling them. They were just focused on God. And my in-laws being people that love God, being people that understand there's God. Everybody focused on prayers. Nobody had to start going to different babalawo or
Honest.
whatever to start looking for solution. We were just dependent on God. So we prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed all through. Even when somebody came to the hospital and called me, the woman called me the woman said I have a spirit husband, that they're trying to attack me, they're trying to take away my main husband. So many things. Anybody can come up with anything. So my mother-in-law sat me down and told me that if I keep listening to what people are saying, that I might end up hurting myself and I might end up, you know, like getting the whole situation worse. That if I believe in God, I should just pray to God and I shouldn't listen to whatever it is people are saying. And that was the day I made up my mind that this woman, I'm going to take care of my mother-in-law. I don't care what it costs. Because there are so many people out there that when something, look at it in this angle that if your son wants to get married and all of a sudden your son fell sick.
Fell sick, right?
Do you know they're going to think in a kind of way that, who knows where this thing is coming from? I don't know if you understand, but this woman took me in. Yeah, this woman took me in. She nurtured me in as much as her son was not feeling fine. She was still taking care of me because she knows I'm in their state. She knows I'm not from a firebomb. She knows I'm in their state, staying with the son while she goes home, cook whatever she wants to cook and bring to the hospital. She took care of me. She took care of everything, my clothes. Like she literally took care of me. It's as though she was even taking care of me and her son. Do you understand? So I really, that kind of love, I can never take it for granted in this life. I will never. So she took care of me. She didn't even bother to know whether the son was sick or not. She was taking care of me. She was taking care of the son and all of that. So she loved me unconditional. So with that kind of, in fact, when I was not praying, I was not telling God, bless this woman for me. God, please, for the sake of this woman, keep this man alive. For the sake of this woman, don't let anything happen to this man. If not for anything, for the sake of this one, even if you don't consider me God, consider this woman. Because if anything happens to this man, this woman is, I don't know how she's going to feel. I don't know how she's going to, I don't know how she's going to live her life again. But God came to our rescue. We spent about 3 months in the hospital.
It's a lot.
It was a lot. I can't even say everything that actually happened, but I'm only trying to say that I never believed in God until what happened. And after my prayers, my fasting, crying to God, God answered me and brought back this man to life and brought back my husband to life. And after he came back on his feet, after 3 months, came back on his feet and still proceeded in paying this bride price.
Oh
Remember,
my
he was
God.
preparing. Remember, he was preparing to go and pay the bride price, which sickness stopped him from doing. But after he got healed, after he was okay, he went back to my family and paid the bride price. He even paid extra because even while he was in the hospital, my dad was making sure he was following up. My dad was making sure he was still contributing whatever it is they say bring. It was like these two families that did not know each other came together and loved themselves. As much as we are from different tribe, I'm from Igbo, and these people are Akwa Ibom.
Yeah.
So this is like two different ethnic groups coming together. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
I don't know how God was able to bless this union, but God did. God blessed this union. And at the end of the day, I and my husband, we got married and we are happily living together. So, and that's from what happened, I can categorically tell anybody who is struggling from believing God should just cease from struggling because all they have to do is believe. All they have to do is be still and know that God is at work. That's just all they have to do. Because God saw that coming. In as much as I'm somebody that don't take things, I was very carefree, like I said before. As of then, I was very carefree with my life. I didn't really take things too seriously because in the dream, God has shown me this severally in my dream. But I didn't take it. It was actually when it happened that I knew that, all of this has
Really
been a dream. God
preparing.
has been trying to speak to me. Yes, because God showed me different ways in my dream. God has shown me different ways. Like this, see, God showed me what was coming, but I didn't really take it serious until it happened. And that was when I started reflecting back on those dreams I used to have. Like, oh, so it was actually this dream God was trying to warn me about to be prayerful, things like that. So that's for the first story. Hope I'm not too fast. I hope I'm not
Oh,
trying to
I'm
do that.
really, I almost did, but I'm like, let her finish her story because this is faith in God and your perseverance through all of this.
Yes.
Okay.
The second one is the one I will now fight anybody. Do you understand?
Yes.
The second one is the one I will not fight anybody that comes across me and God or tells me there's no God. Because let me just start my story from the beginning. Okay. As of last 2 years, October or so, yes, I got pregnant. So when I got pregnant, we were happy. I mean, we wanted to have a baby. I and my husband were ready. We are financially stable now, so having a baby, it's like what we actually want, right? So when I got pregnant in around that October, we were so happy. We did everything we were asked to do. We avoided the things we were asked to avoid. We were so happy, we were intentional about the child. So we were just so careful about the child. We were careful. We did everything. I took all my drugs. I did everything I was asked to do. For along the line, when I got to 6 months, I don't know what happened. I woke up one morning, I started having stomach pains. I was really worried. I complained to a doctor that I am having stomach pains. But of course, I don't know what labor was as of then. I didn't know what labor was as of then. I did not know anything about pregnancy or what I should report or what I shouldn't report or whatever that bothers me. Like I just didn't know anything about pregnancy. So as at 6 months, I started having stomach ache. I thought it was the normal stomach ache. Oh my God. Here in my sitting room, I was lying down. I was having severe stomach ache. I didn't know what it was. Oh God, help me. I didn't know what it was and nothing. Nobody even told me, oh, when you have such kind of thing, this is what you're supposed to do. Nothing. Nobody told me. And I was sitting with my husband in the sitting room, laughing and being happy and love. That was how my water broke. At 6 months, my water broke and I started bleeding. I bled heavily. Before they could even rush me from here to the hospital, I lost the child. It was a miscarriage. So, I cried and cried because, I mean, that was like my first pregnancy. I was
Okay.
worried. I cried. All my, should I say, all my joy was scattered. All my hope was lost. All the things we've actually planned for the child there was no happiness again as of that period. It wasn't funny for me. My husband cried. I cried. Literally everybody in the family cried. I was in the hospital for about how many weeks? I lost so much blood. They transferred. I was on blood transfusion for about how many days? I almost lost my life. I almost died
Oh my God.
because
That's
at that
serious.
point, yeah, it was very serious because now it was 6 months and I was asked, the doctor advised I shouldn't go through CS. I'll have to push the baby out. So imagine pushing a dead baby out. It's so painful. It's more painful. It's more painful than the main labor. So,
Yeah.
after I lost the child, and I lost that child during my NY. That was when I started my NYC. That was when I
Okay.
started my NYC. So I was actually moving around my pregnancy and all of that. But when I lost the child, just know that God was just on my side then. I think God was trying to bring me closer to Him or something. I don't know. Okay. So when I lost the child, I just had the whole sorry, sorry, sorry. Everybody came to sympathize with me and all of that. So I had to tell God that if I don't know, but if you really want me to be a mother, I just want to be pregnant again within one. In fact, that same year. Do you understand?
Yeah.
This was like what I told God. If you want me to be pregnant, if you want me to be a mother, I want to be pregnant that same year. I don't care what anybody has to say. So I lost this child on the 29th of February. On the 29th of February,
Okay.
last two
Cheers.
years, that was when I lost the child. Yes. Now on the October again, this same October I took in, I realized I'm pregnant again. And that was
Okay.
God.
Yeah.
God. That was just God. Because it's as though I spoke and He listened. This same
Yeah.
month that I got pregnant again that same month. I lost my baby in February, and by October I got pregnant, and I was happy. We're so excited. So now, in this particular pregnancy, we're so careful. We're so making sure that whatever we're doing, we are careful. Like we didn't want to hear any stories again and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the devil came to strike again at
Mm-mm.
6 months. Hey, at 6 months, the devil came to strike again. But at this point, I was already In fact, I was already wearing my armor.
Mm-hmm.
I was already
Really
on, I
good.
was already on guard. Like you cannot come and if something if some you cannot let something happen to you twice.
Nice. No.
It's not possible. I was on guard because I knew that they were going to come back. So in that 6 months, I started bleeding again.
What?
There
Okay.
was no stomach ache. There was nothing. There was nothing at
There
all.
was no
I
sign
just
deep
started bleeding.
sign.
There was no signs. There was nothing. I just dished food to eat in the afternoon, and then I started bleeding. And God, thank you, Jesus, that my husband was around. So immediately my husband rushed me to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, and thank God for the doctor that was on seat. I can never forget that doctor. That doctor, that doctor, that doctor. I will never forget him. I will
An
never ever
angel
forget him.
said,
Like, yes, he was an angel. So when I got there, the doctor saw me. He said, "Okay, you know what? We're going to put you on bed rest. That this is a threatening miscarriage. But we're going to do everything to save the child." So
mm-hmm.
they placed me on bed rest. I was on bed rest for how many weeks? I was on bed rest for about 3 or 4 weeks. So when the doctor said, "Okay, you know what? You can go home now since we've given you drugs and all of that. You can go home, but try to avoid it. Try to avoid this. Try to avoid this." Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I said, "Okay, sir." He gave me all the drugs and I went home, living my normal life and all of that. Now, um, just after I went home, let's say 1 week after I got to the house, I started noticing this charge from my body. I started
Very
noticing this
stubborn.
charge. So, yeah. So when I started
Mm-hmm.
noticing that, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to the hospital and still tell this doctor because now I'm just going to complain whatever I see in me.
So
I'm going to
then, yeah.
complain. I will not keep quiet, even if it's just one heat rash. I will not keep quiet. I'm going to the doctor. So when
Okay.
I got to when I got to the hospital, I told the doctor this is what I'm experiencing. So the doctor checked. I said he was going to check me. So when the doctor checked me, he said, "You know what? God brought you here."
Mm.
And mind you, from the first day of my pregnancy, I have been on prayers. I have
Okay.
constantly prayed. I have constantly prayed. I don't think you understand what kind of prayer I'm praying. Psalm 91 never departed from my mouth. In fact, I had to cram Psalm 91. I had to cram Psalm 91 because I know it was like a protection prayer. So even if I
Yes.
did not know any other prayer, even if I did not know any other prayer, Psalm 91 was like my armor was moving around
Mm-hmm.
with. I was constantly on prayers. So when I got to the hospital, I told the doctor that, see, I'm having a discharge. I don't really know why it's happening. Maybe if there's anything you can give me to take to can stop the discharge. So the doctor said he was going to check me. So when he checked me, he told me that do I know it's God that brought me here? I said, I don't understand, doctor. What is going on? So he said he's going to send me for a scan and he wants me to bring that scan results now, immediately for him. I said, okay. So I gave him he sent me for a scan. My husband came. We went for the scan together. When we got to the see God, you see God. When we got to the
It's
hospital,
always on time.
he's always on. He's never late.
Mm.
When we got to the scan place, they checked me and what do they call these scan people? I've forgotten what they are called. They checked me and
Okay.
they saw that my cervix was open. They saw that I was about to lose that child. That discharge was like a sign that there's something living.
In out. Yeah.
What's it called? There's something called a plug. When you get pregnant, there's a plug that God, let me call it God, because
Discharge.
I know it's biological, but I mean, without God being involved, it can't be biological. So biologically, when a woman gets pregnant, there's something called a plug that goes to block where the baby comes out from. And that plug only goes out when you're about to give birth. So if your plug goes out when you're not yet about to give birth, that means you're going to lose that child. So when
Mm.
they checked me, they realized that my own plug was about to leave. Like it was about to go out. It's already leaving. Like it's already going out through discharge. You understand? So it was not about to go out completely.
Mm.
So, but the doctors, they were so fast. You know, the scan person was so fast. He was able to dictate it and dictate what was about to leave. He was able to dictate what was left, what was remaining, and all of that. And this is 6 months pregnant. 6 months pregnant. So how if this thing goes out, how do I not carry this child to them? How do I reach 9 months? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So when the doctor, when the what was it? When the doctor,
Gynecologist.
yeah, when he confirmed that, okay, this is the situation right now. So he said, Mrs. Vivian, we cannot let you go home. That was the word the doctor said. We cannot let you go home. It is too risky to let you go home. We're going to place you in this hospital bed. We want to watch you closely. We cannot let you go home. And I was already planning to travel to Owerri. I was already planning to travel to, because now I wanted to go and pick some things because I wanted to give birth to my child in Canada. We've already processed our Canadian visa. We've processed our everything that has to do with us traveling out. So me going home now, I wanted to go and get my local food.
Okay.
I wanted to go and pick up my local food. I wanted to go and pick up all these crayfish, stockfish, beans, things I can travel with. I wanted to go and pack them because we have a personal driver that takes me home when I want to travel. The driver
Okay.
comes, carries me home, carries me to Owerri and bring me back. So I was already preparing to go home because I wanted to go bring red oil, bring all the things I want to use and travel out. So, but when God is never late.
That's the
God
best
is never
one.
late. So when the doctor saw that, he said you cannot travel, cancel your travel. And at that point, I was called for a contract job in an oil and gas company. I was called for a job in oil and gas company in, I don't want to mention the name of the company. You already know the company.
Yes, we already know the company. Others, please.
Yeah.
It's just an oil and gas company. Yeah.
Yes, I was already called for a different contract job, like that was going to pay me more money. But now I couldn't go for that job because the doctor already instructed you cannot leave the hospital for anything. So the job was taken away from me because I was not there to do the job. But I mean, my child was more important than any job I can actually lay my
Important.
hands on.
Of course.
The doctor placed me on bed and told me to stay in the bed. So I was in the hospital. They were giving me all the drugs they were going to give me. In fact, they even said they were going to, I don't know what they said. Okay, yes. A different doctor now came. And when the doctor saw me, the doctor was like, this is your situation, this your situation is, we call it threatening miscarriage, blah blah blah. That is best that once my baby gets to 9 months, it's best I go through CS. That's just the best form. So um, my father-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
these are
Elderly.
our elderly parents now and all of
Yes.
that. Right from time, that man has been saying you will never go through CS. You will never go through CS. You will never go through.
Wow.
That's what he has just been. That's just his own prayer point over wherever he was
The
then.
strong one.
That was just his own prayer. So me in the hospital, all I know is save my baby. I don't care the process.
What mean?
Do you understand? I don't care if it was CS. I did not care if it was normal delivery. What was important is save me, save my baby. My baby I cannot lose any other child. The devil has taken the first one. This is my own. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care what. I'm taking this pregnancy to 9 months and I'm going to give birth to this child. Whether through CS, through normal delivery. I'm going home with my child alive. That was just what I was concerned about. So, the doctor came in, oh, this is going to just be a CS situation. Once you get to 9 months, we'll just book you for CS, blah, blah, blah. I did not mind. I did not mind at all. Okay, that's the only situation around here. That's fine. I don't mind. But I kept on praying. My own prayer was God should just save me and save my baby. I was in fear. I was constantly in tears. I was crying every day. Sometimes when you call me, I'll tell you I'm in the hospital. Nobody knew what I was
Yeah,
going
I
through.
remember.
Yeah. And while I was still in the hospital, my water was leaking. I really went through a lot, but guess what? I did not stop believing in God. I just told God one thing, that if you bring, or when you bring me and my son back home alive, not only will I come to testify, because I've never given testimony in my life before. I've never gone to church to give testimony. So I promised God I was going to come to church and testify. That's one. And I'm going to make sure my son serves him. These are the two promises I give God. That my son is going to serve you, and I'm going to come to church and testify. These are the things that I explained and told God. And I held on to it. You understand? I held on to it and I was moving. So some of my friends, they called, they prayed for me. Some of my mother-in-law, she even had to leave her house. She came and she visited me. She prayed for me. My father-in-law, wherever he was praying. My people were praying. Everybody was just praying. There was just prayer going on my own head. So I stayed 1 month, I stayed 2 months, I stayed 3 months in the hospital.
Not.
See, nobody sees God coming. Nobody. His ways are not of man.
I will
His
understand.
ways, you can never see God coming. That thing you think, oh, is the way forward. He has another plan for you. Remember, they've told me it's CS, so I've already put my mind in CS. Even when I was buying
Yes.
things, I was buying things like a CS mom. I was buying things like, oh, these are the things for CS, these are the things for CS. I was buying the ones they were telling me for. I didn't
He's
even put
all
my mind. But
knowing. He
then,
knows all.
yes, but then there was something that was in my. There's this book I usually read, Supernatural Childbirth. That's the book I usually read whenever I'm pregnant. I read that book because it encourages you to on how to push your child. It encourages you on how to give birth. So,
Yes.
I used to read that book when I haven't gotten to the hospital. But when I realized that my birth was going to be through CS, I dumped that book one side because I mean, it's CS, right? What's the point of reading the book? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I dumped the book one side and I was just, all my mind was just focused on CS. Even when I sleep and dream, I see myself doing CS in the dream. So I didn't read that book again. I just dumped that. But then that mind keeps telling me, go back and read that book. Go back and read that book. Go back and, but I just tell myself, there's no point of reading this book. I mean, it's serious. What's the point of reading how to push your child or how to, things like that. So my dear, on the 28th of May,
Okay.
on the 28th of May, I started having contraction. My baby is already 9 months now. But now
Yes.
this is not date. This is not the date they gave me for CS. They've given me date for CS. But now on the 28th of May, I started contracting. I called doctor. Remember, they
Yeah.
told me it was through CS.
Yes.
So I told doctor that I think I'm having pains, stomach pains. So the doctor told me, this is the doctor telling me this one is the doctor, the surgeon, not the doctor. The doctor that now listen, the first day I came to the hospital that I was bleeding, the doctor I met that said I have to stay at least a week or so or more in the hospital. The
Yes.
doctor is a general practitioner,
Okay.
general doctor. Now, the doctor that told me I was going to go through CS is a surgeon,
Okay.
a gynecologist, but he's a surgeon. He
Okay.
delivers women through CS. He was the one that told me that I would go through CS. Now, the day my stomach started paining me, the doctor on duty was the one that told me that I cannot go anywhere. I have to stay back in the house, in the hospital, that he will not let me go anywhere. He was the doctor on duty. Do you
Okay.
understand?
Yes, those are different doctors per meeting.
Yes. The one that examined me and told me it was going to be through CS is the surgeon. While the one that told me I cannot travel or go anywhere is the one that admitted me that first day I came.
The general practitioner.
Yeah, general practitioner was the one that admitted me the first day I came and told me I cannot go anywhere because of the situation of things.
Okay.
But because I've spent 3 months in the hospital, 3 months in the I spent 3 months in the hospital.
Okay.
Now the doctor that came told me that I can not push, that I have to go through CS and leave the next morning. Like, this is the kind of man I married. I don't even know, like, I'm just lucky. That's just what it means. Because it's not everybody it's not all the men that will go through this staying with somebody in the hospital for that long. He loves me
Yeah.
so much that he didn't really, like, it was nothing to that sacrifice was nothing to him. And this man provided everything I needed in that hospital, from drugs to food to cravings to whatever it is that I was looking for, whatever it is that hospital asked for, whatever it is that I requested for. This man provided everything for me.
Okay.
Now, when I started having that stomach pains, I was telling these people, can I go for scan? I was telling them I want to go for scan. Let me at least be sure my baby is okay. Let me be sure his heartbeat is okay. Everything is fine. Because I don't
Okay.
understand this stomach. In the morning, I get stomach ache. At least it's night and I'm still having stomach ache. I was really worried. So they booked me for scan, but then they told me that the scan machine is bad. And I cannot go for their scan. I cannot use their scan machine. It's bad. That unless they take me outside to a different hospital where I will have to use the scan machine. So I said, this doctor, I shouldn't move to anywhere. I shouldn't go anywhere. So how will you people take me outside of this hospital? How do you intend to take me outside of this hospital? I can't even stand up on this bed because I have never stood up for the past 3 months.
Wow.
The only way I bathe is. Yes, I didn't stand up. That's why even when I gave birth, I couldn't walk. If you want, I can send you the videos. I can send you the videos. When I gave birth, I couldn't walk because I've not walked for the past 3 months. I could not walk. It was as though I was crippled. But thank God. So I told him I cannot move. So the only way I was bathing was through cleaning. They were cleaning me up. I was brushing. They were bringing buckets for me to brush in. They were cleaning me up. I could not bathe for more than 3 months now. I stayed how many months in the hospital? So it was just my husband that was helping me, making sure I was fresh, making sure I could not even do photo shoots. You guys know me now. I don't do pregnancy photo shoot, all those kind of things. I did not do it. I was in the hospital. I was crying for my life. I was begging God to save me and save my son. I was begging God. Even when I managed to stand up a bit, maybe let's say my body is aching me and I just try to stand up. My water was already leaking. Do you understand? My water was already leaking. And that water cannot leak because this is the water your baby survives in.
Yeah.
So I had to be careful. So I had to lie back on the bed. So I actually went through so many things and God was constantly by my side. The only thing I was praying was, God, please save me, save my son. This is what I will do for you. This is what I will do for you. I was constantly telling God, I was constantly reminding God, I was constantly on mighty one. So, this stomach pain has been paining me. And remember, the surgeon that was supposed to carry out this surgery is not around.
Okay.
The surgeon that was supposed to go through this, do this CS for me is not around. He's only that general practitioner. And he cannot operate. Yes, he's not a surgeon, so he cannot operate. But he can give birth, but he cannot operate. So he was just there with me, telling me sorry, that I should just endure, it will stop, that it's just normal contraction, that it will stop. Whether they were calling it forced contraction or something, I can't really remember the words they used. So, I just kept on enjoying love. Around 9 p.m., the thing was worst. The pains increased. Then I recognized the pains. All of this, all this while I've been in that kind of pains. I've been seeing it like a normal stomach pains.
Okay.
But around that 9 p.m., I realized this is labor because I've seen that kind of pain before. Sorry, I've felt that kind of pain
before. Yeah.
Now I recognize labor pain when I see one, or when I feel one. I know labor pain is no longer like the normal pain. So the pain increased, the intensity of the pains increased. It increased so badly, like I was really crying and praying to God. And the good thing is I wasn't just crying and shouting, no. I was crying and shouting, God save me. God save my son. God save me. God save my. That was only what I was shouting. I was not even crying, Jesus, hey, hey. No. The only thing I was saying was, God save me. Jesus save my son. Jesus save me. Jesus save my son. That was what I was crying in the labor room. God came down and saved me. I went through that labor from that 9 p.m. till 7 a.m. dot. Love, I gave birth 29th of May. 7 a.m. on my baby came out. No CS, nothing, no operation.
This is a lot.
That came to me. That doctor that told me that I could not move anywhere, I can't travel, this, that. He was the one that took the delivery because they started calling the surgeon to come since it's now labor. Because now they've seen that it's labor. Because now the doctor checked me. I was 10 cm dilated. I was 10 cm dilated. The water has not broken. So the owner of the hospital came, the nurses came, my baby's doctor, the pediatrician was on standby because they started calling everybody because nobody saw this.
Coming.
I told you when God is coming, God. Nobody sees God, but he makes sure he's there.
That's why it's good.
Nobody sees God. So nobody knew, there's nothing, they were not even they were not prepared to get people around. So, but they started making calls. They started calling the surgeon, started calling the pediatrician, started calling the other nurses, started calling the matron. This is delivery now. It's no longer like before, where they were thinking it was stomach pain. Do you know it took surgeon about 10 they called surgeon by 12 a.m. that this person is in labor. Surgeon came 9 a.m. the next day. The next day. When I
7 a.m.
This is God. 7 a.m. I just gave birth. God saved me.
There's a lot of stories.
Then
Thank you so much for this. I was just listening through, racking my head in three perspectives. As a young woman, especially when it has to do with, one thing that people should understand is that at every trajectory of our life, Whether you are single, you are getting married, already married, you have to pray it through. Because yours journey is from your singlehood, preparation for marriage, into marriage. These are 3 journeys that you are taking us through and how God came through for you. So one question that I will just ask question in these 3 perspectives, and you give one word generally to cap the whole thing that you have said up. The first question is that what do you have for people that feel like God have been distant from me for a long time? How can I even speak to you? I need you, because they feel like I cannot come to God because after everything, I've not been praying to God. I don't have a relationship with God. Will God still hear me? Do I even have the slightest of opportunity to even speak to Him? Because I need Him. What do you have to say to people at that particular point in their life?
There's a Bible verse that said, "Come to me, all ye that labored," right? And
Yes.
I'll give
And I'll give you rest.
yes. So no matter the kind of thing you have gone through, no matter how distant you are from God, no matter what you faced in life, since He said, "Come to me," just go to God. I was distant from God. I don't pray every day. But when what I couldn't face on my own came to me, I still ran back to God, and He saved me. He delivered me.
Mm.
Something nobody can do. He did it for me. So no matter what you are, no matter what you're going through, no matter the kind of things you've done, no matter the kind of sin you've committed, just run to God. He's the only option we have. He's the final say. He's the only savior. And while he's at work, please be still.
Be still. That's my favorite verse for this particular season of my life is be still and know that I am God. That's Psalm 46 verse 10, if I'm not mistaken. The second question is for people that getting their partners, trusting God even in that season, because that particular part in believing God in their journey, what do you say to them as well? What do you say to them when you
Well, I would say there's always someone for everyone. Don't be in a hurry to move into something that you would hurriedly come out from or come out of. So just believe God. That's just the only thing.
The last one, motherhood. Nobody prepares anybody for motherhood than God. I'm serious, because hearing this your particular journey, it not only drew you to God, but it gives you an understanding that it takes God to really become a mother, and it takes God to sustain you through that process. What do you say to people that maybe had been trying to give birth for 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, lost a child, and they feel so afraid going back again? They don't even know how to approach God for what they want, even as they trust God for a child. What do you say to them? Today is this month is women's celebration, and I believe every woman that will listen to it, what second word will you give to them as well?
Well, so you just know that God is never late.
Mm.
He's always on time, no matter how long they've waited, no matter how long they've stayed. If I can, they will. If I can give birth, they too, they will carry their child. So they shouldn't bother complaining, crying, and all of that. They should know God is always on time. He's never late. He will come when he's ready.
Yeah.
It's just the thing.
God makes everything beautiful at his own time. Thank you so much, Mrs. Vivian Alfred. I just had to give you the time to just speak, because one of the things I resonate so much with, and I believe others, is listening to people's story completely. And I must say, it's something that will engineer faith to whoever that will listen. And I appreciate you for your time. We don't take your time for granted. We say a big thank you for all of us at Hope Voyage. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this particular story, and we appreciate. And for those that will be listening, you can actually follow her on her Instagram. Please, can you say your Instagram as well?
Yes. They can follow my business page. I do more of my business. Sell with Vivian.
Sell with Vivian. Thank you
Sell
so
with
much.
Vivian.
Sell with Vivian. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We hope to see you next month. Same time, same station,
So,
same venue. Bye, guys. Thank you
all
so much,
right.
ma'am. Happy International Women's Day to all women globally. And today, being the release of our podcast, we are celebrating all the mothers as well. Thank you for taking up the fought as a mother. You are loved, you are appreciated, you are seen, and you are heard. Kisses, mothers. Kisses to all women globally for standing up, for speaking up, for being strong, for being resilient. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening to the podcast.